You see, Moshori, whenever you look at everything we do and every initiative we take, it's always about Russia. Someone speaks and they're said to be influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? So does that mean Africans aren't capable of developing anything? Africans aren't capable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives? That's what we're fighting against. And as long as they keep seeing Africans this way, as subhuman, incapable of thinking, incapable of innovating or inventing, we can never be friends. Times have changed. So it's really about the way they see black people. They need to stop that. Because by treating us like that, it's as if they see black people as subhuman. And that's dangerous. They need to change their language.
But how does this attitude show itself?
Look at their speeches. Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It said, Western media, and if you listen to them often, they do nothing but lie all the time. And look today, the AES, which is a model that's starting to take shape. Then they can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore.
The collaboration between Russia and the Sahel countries is growing stronger and stronger. Whether in defense, education, or even industrial investment, Russia plays an important role in Africa. Russia is thus seen as a respectful and non-imperialist partner. This cooperation marks a strategic geopolitical realignment, but it raises questions. Is Russia acting solely out of solidarity or out of self-interest? We may be witnessing a change of empire rather than true independence for Africans.
What are the prospects for relations between Russia and Burkina Faso, in your opinion?
There are many prospects ahead. And as I said with the parade I saw, I think there is very good cooperation because, yes, right now we are buying equipment, but we need to develop the military industry, for example. And Russia can contribute a lot. You know that Russia, who has many scientists, many scholars who are Russian. As proof, we just left the Mendeleev University. They can support us greatly in training so that we can also advance. Because in our country, we have young talents, geniuses who are able to create things, but they lack the mathematical and scientific input to be able to improve what they do. So Russia can help us a lot in this area. It will help us on the military front, on the industrial front, because it is machines that keep the world running. And today, with the technology that exists, whether it's computer science, networks, telecommunications, and so on, Russia is collaborating with us a great deal in this area. So in the future, all these prospects will be put on the agenda so that we can achieve a specific goal that we desire.
The collaboration between Russia and the Sahel countries, particularly in the fields of defense, education, and industry, can be seen as a historic opportunity to diversify strategic partnerships. In the face of long-standing alliances often characterized by imbalanced relationships inherited from colonization, this opening toward Moscow thus allows countries like Burkina Faso to regain diplomatic flexibility and break away from a unipolar dependency. By presenting itself as a pragmatic and non-interfering partner, Russia offers a response to the growing desire among African peoples to no longer be seen as spheres of influence, but as sovereign actors. Unlike certain Western powers that tie their aid to political reforms or ideological alignment, Moscow offers cooperation based on mutual interest and respect for sovereignty. In the field of defense, this cooperation has enabled several Sahelian armies to strengthen their capabilities in the face of transnational threats, such as terrorism, at a time when some traditional partners have reduced or completely suspended their support.
It should be noted that, to this day, gold remains the leading export product in Burkina Faso. But we have set agriculture in motion, first for self-sufficiency, but also for business, foreign trade, and export. If you pay close attention, since last year, we have launched the agricultural offensive with an initiative that supports this offensive The goal is to significantly increase our agricultural production, achieve self-sufficiency, but also to have cash crops that we can sell abroad. And all of this should be able to support this growth, and we hope to be well above those figures.
But how are these reforms actually being carried out?
There are a lot of things. These are difficult reforms. It must be acknowledged because the system has become entrenched, but it's not impossible. Already when you look at our cereal production, we saw very strong growth in 2024. In 2025, we hope to do even better. These are quite bold reforms. For example, if we stick with agriculture, we have, for instance, decided through the offensive initiative to plow our farmers' fields for free. Last year we did it. This year again, God willing, when we return, there are a good number of tractors that we have acquired, which we will make available to the mechanized units in the various departments to increase the cultivated areas. We are putting a lot of emphasis on water management through a structure we created, the ONBN, to control water and be able to produce at least 2 or 3 times a year. Because if we rely solely on rainfall, it would be difficult. So there is this sector and also the mining sector, which we will continue to boost so that the country itself can exploit its own resources.
On the industrial and educational front, Russian investment could help lay the foundations for more autonomous development by focusing on local training and processing natural resources on site. Of course, it is legitimate to question Russia's motivations. No state acts without self-interest, but rather than seeing this as a change of empire, this geopolitical reconfiguration can be interpreted as an attempt by Sahel countries to take back the initiative, to create a balance of power among major players, and above all, to break free from the economic and diplomatic marginalization in which they had been confined. In short, cooperation with Russia should not be seen as a new form of dependency, but rather as a strategic opening created by leaders who intend to rethink independence, not as a legacy, but as an active, modern, and multipolar construction. This model recalls the endogenous development theories of the 1960s and 1970s, as advocated by its predecessor, the renowned Thomas Sankara. Reindustrialization and food sovereignty, ambitious promises, but risky in a context of instability. Traoré's approach is based on a logic of endogenous development, where national resources, land, local expertise, and agricultural sectors become the main levers of sovereignty. It is no longer Africa exporting raw materials at low prices to import overpriced manufactured goods, but rather an Africa that processes locally, creates value and jobs, and gradually frees itself from neo-colonial and dependency circuits. Of course, this strategy faces real challenges, notably security instability, but it should be emphasized that this very instability is partly rooted in the continent's economic dispossession, a dispossession that fuels unemployment, precariousness, and community conflicts. In other words, it is precisely by reindustrializing and reinvesting in Chakine, Genen, and Tashin agriculture that Burkina Faso can regain a form of lasting stability, because people will have prospects for life and hope.
For more content on African current affairs, follow us on the social network African Deeper World and on all our other platforms. All the links are available in the bio.